So my meet cute with Nisha. It's my senior year. We were watching the homecoming football game. It's Northwestern versus Iowa. We were getting our asses handed to us. And so I'm standing in the bleachers with a good friend of mine who grew up in the Bay Area. All of a sudden, this beautiful, tall, blue-eyed, blue-green-eyed kind of girl walks up and starts talking to my buddy. And I'm like, I've never seen you before. I interject in the conversation and we start chatting. And turns out her name is Nisha. She's a sophomore. She knows my buddy because she's originally from the Bay Area. And so they got it connected through mutual friends way back in the day. He had graduated already and was back to visit me. And we were hanging out. And so she came down to chat with him. I started talking to her. And then it was about to be halftime and she was going to leave. And so I asked for her number, got her number. She didn't ask for mine. And then she left that with her friends. So we watched the rest of the game. Northwestern comes back to win in overtime, which was great. And so now I'm like, oh, this is my entry point into being able to message.
Yeah.
And this is one thing I guess now is commonplace, but growing up in Indonesia, texting was the primary form of communication because SMS was free, calls cost money. And so you would never call your friend to come down, I'm downstairs, or hey, it's always text. When I got to the US and I went to the Singular store on Chicago Ave in Evanston for the first time to get my cell phone number, and they're like, oh, would you like to add SMS? I was like, what are you talking about? And so it was minutes, you bought minutes, and then text was extra. Now, obviously, that's swung to the right direction, which is much more my kind of home base and safe. And so I'm a texter. And even in college, I was a texter. And so I texted Nisha something to the effect of, oh, you missed a great rest of the game. Northwestern came back to win. And then a little hyphen and Rishi. And then a few minutes go by and I get this text message back saying, I heard the hand got good. And that was it. And so now I'm looking at this message like, okay, interesting. I'm just going to blow right by.
Yeah.
So then we kept, a couple weeks later, went on our first date. And that was October 19th, 2007.
That's, by the way,
we've been together
really
ever since.
Sweet that he knows that. But isn't it sweet that he remembers the exact date and the I think
19th or 23rd in there. I think it's we have so many anniversaries because we'll get into it later. Yeah. But it's October 23rd, October 20th. It's like in October is our anniversary. And so 15 years later was 15 years was last year.
Yeah.
And so as she tells it, she said, oh, there's this really tall Indian guy that I hadn't seen before. I'm a tall Indian girl. There are not many tall Indian guys, Vic. And
wow. You know what? These constant digs.
She came down to have a conversation with me, didn't get my text message. I didn't get my phone number on purpose. And then she leaves. And then I text her. And apparently there's a whole group of girls now trying to reply to this text message. And so she was going to say, I heard the game got good. But in those days, remember T9 where you hand and game are the same and you have to press the star? She accidentally hit send instead of hitting the star. And so now she hits send and all these girls are freaking out in her sorority and I just blow right by. And so then, from then on, I was always Sir Texts a lot in her group of girlfriends. So that was the foray into us now being together with 2 kids at home.
That's amazing. Cheers to that.
15
years.
Cheers.
Sir Text-a-lot married.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, we got married in 2014.
You must have a husband that's a little bit more chill than I am. But how did you meet your husband? Your parents met at a labor camp. So I'm interested in the kind of, what was your meet cute? Who is he?
It's funny. He's pretty chill. He's a very interesting person. Very understandable. I work all the time, so I appreciate he's very supportive, and I put myself in all sorts of dangerous situations. He actually also likes doing that. Actually, there's one time we were in Xinjiang in China, and we got robbed together.
Oh,
Well, if
that's
you're
so
gonna get robbed together,
Again, I don't think I was supposed to go there at the time. Everyone, dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. I mean, it's fine. And people
Yeah.
always exaggerate things, so you don't know until you check it out. Really, it was like a minor thing. I didn't lose anything. We almost went to a fight. It didn't, so it's all fine.
so it's all
But we met in Michigan, so it's not. Yeah, we met in
Okay.
Michigan
at school and
at school. He actually grew up in Michigan, so
Oh, cool.
When did you meet your wife? I know that you've been married for 6 years, but I don't know how long that relationship and where it started. Tell us where it started.
So my wife, it's really crazy. So my wife almost came to Stanford to run track, but she didn't. She went to University of Michigan instead. And she was like, think if we gone to school together. I was like, I was a huge loser and a nerd. You would have not have been interested in me. I just studied and worked all the time. There's no way in which you would have found me at all interesting. Trust me.
Where did she grow up?
Also in Michigan. You know what's crazy, Vic? We're the same age. We went to 2 private schools that are about less than a mile apart.
Wow.
We're the same age. I didn't meet her till California.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
And the crazy thing is, our son's godfather is her best guy friend from college, who also happens to be my cousin's best friend.
Wow.
Weird.
So he basically one day was like, hey, my friend is coming out here. She's going to move to California for work. Her company's moving her out. You should meet her.
Yeah.
And I kind of dropped the ball and did a good job.
You were like your Stanford hosts, right? You made her
I
sleep
know,
on the floor
totally.
in the lobby. She was worried you were going to step on her.
And then someone else reintroduced us later, a guy who lived near her in Atlanta, who played on my high school football team. And then I can tell you, this is very San Francisco. The first time I met her was downstairs at 25 Lusk.
Wow.
And it almost didn't happen because I had this very talented but rigid admin. And my admin was like, he has no time for like 7 months.
Where were you
Now,
working
for whatever
at
reason,
the time?
I was working at Uncork.
Uncork, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was like doing some stuff at Uncork, and I also had my own startup. So I was like, oh, I was running my startup, and I was a venture partner at Uncork. And I'm like, this place is, and the startup was at 139 Townsend.
Yeah.
This is convenient. And for whatever reason, my admin copied me in that email. I jumped in and was like, hey, I have a board meeting. I could move it around. We can meet. And then we met, and kind of, honestly, nothing happened right away. I was like, oh, she's very good looking, very smart, really nice person. And then she would text me sometimes, hey, me and my girlfriends are going out in San Francisco. You've been here basically forever. Where should we go? And I'm like, oh, this is my friend's bar. I'll text him. You all can go here. And then much later, we started dating. And then we got married, and now we have a 4-year-old son.
I have a 4-year-old son.
Mm-hmm.
So romantic.
Very romantic.
Yeah, Brielle, I almost screwed it up. Let's be clear. I definitely almost screwed it up.
Can you tell us a little bit more about your wife? I know that she's one of your idols practically, that your greatest triumph is marrying her, and she is a diversity inclusion coach.
Yeah.
So we would love to hear more about your story, how you met her, and why you are so enamored with this woman.
Yeah. Are you going to email this to my wife, by the way, after this recording? Just at least a
Absolutely.
snippet. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. Perfect.
If she subscribes, she has to
All
subscribe.
right. Hey, Beatrice, pay attention to the next few minutes here.
Yeah.
So, the biggest lottery ticket I ever got in my life happened from the very first week of college. So in the first week of college, I actually met Elizabeth and Sheehan, my 2 co-founders here at Hustle Fund. So that's been a 21-year friendship at this point.
Wow.
We're very close to each other's spouses. Our kids are similar ages, each have a boy and girl. At different times, we're co-investors, co-founders of businesses together. It's really rich history. But the very first day of college, so I'm flying from Detroit Metropolitan Airport to California, one of the longest flights I ever took in my life until that point. Land in SFO, my parents are with me. We had 2 boxes of stuff, so I load up and go to my dorm room at Robley Hall, freshman year at Stanford. And then I'm like, I should probably meet my neighbors. So I knock on the first door to the right of my dorm room. And the first person I meet is my wife. Probably within the first hour of college, I met my wife. Now, at the time, she was dating some other jackass that she dated for 3 more years. But like she left an impression of me of just like, wow, look at this hottie. And like, we took some classes because I'm like, wow, she's brilliant. By our junior year is when we started dating. So as of this next month, that's coming up, April 2021, as of next month, we've been together for about 18 years.
Wow.
And I actually do think that there's a real difference between life before my wife and life after my wife. So the thing that really impresses me about B is Beatrice is her name. So she's primarily a life coach. She works mostly with women who are in tech that are kind of stuck in their lives, trying to find a balance between their marriage, their kids, their careers, and trying to find ways to get unstuck and understanding what they're actually chasing. That's a big part of her business. She also does a lot of diversity and inclusion coaching through a company she started called Awaken with an incredible co-founder named Michelle Kim. The thing that I really love about B is she's always challenged me in two ways. One, very early on, she really impressed this notion of define your values. Just naturally, she kind of loves this stuff. Literally write them down of what does the ideal person look like. There's a song that is a bit of a random tangent, but there's this song that I heard many years ago by the soul singer named William Bell. It's called The Three of Me. And I thought actually it really encapsulates well like, the goal of this exercise. So in his hook under the song, The Three of Me, he says, last night I had a dream that there were three of me. There is the man I was, the man I am, and the man that I want to be. And the really amazing thing is like when you define your values, it's essentially creating the blueprint of the man or woman or person that you want to be, right? And measuring like your daily activities, your choices against this person, over time, it actually makes the man that you want to be or person that you want to be closer to the person that you are today. And I really do credit B for bringing me through this journey.
This clip is brought to you by Fidelity Private Shares, the all-in-one equity management platform built for startups. Fundraising? Download our ebook, The Irresistible Startup, for tips and tricks from our VC guests and friends. Find the link below.
To watch or listen to your favorite episodes of the podcast, go to dwavc.com. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.